In the late hours of October 9, 2023, around 11:30 p.m., law enforcement officers received a chilling 911 call from a distraught man. On the other end of the line, the man's voice could be heard, filled with panic and regret. He confessed to having just shot his fiancée.
I grabbed her gun from under the mattress, and she just, she was trying to come out.
Without delay, officers rushed to the apartment, unaware of the heart-wrenching tragedy that awaited them. When they arrived, they were met with a devastating scene. Inside the apartment, 46-year-old Amanda S. Williams, a well-known and beloved hairstylist, was found lifeless on the floor. Her body was covered with multiple gunshot wounds. The devastating reality of the situation set in. Just moments before the tragedy, Amanda and her partner had shared a moment of joy, a proposal that was supposed to mark the beginning of a beautiful future. Amanda had said yes, but that wedding would never come. This is a very heartbreaking story of Amanda S. Williams.
Hey, birthday girl. What you doing? Are you having breakfast?
Breakfast on my birthday.
Hey, birthday girl.
Amanda's future seemed destined for success, love, and happiness, but everything would change one fateful evening. In October 2023, Amanda continued to thrive in both her personal and professional life when she found herself falling for Jason Harper. A seemingly perfect match, Jason quickly became her partner and confidant. Their love blossomed, and Amanda thought she had finally found her happily ever after. Over time, the dynamic between them began to shift. Jason's loving gestures morphed into controlling behaviors, leaving Amanda feeling trapped in a no longer healthy relationship. Despite her growing concerns, Amanda believed she could fix things, believing in the power of love to heal and change him. However, as October 9, 2023 approached, the situation escalated, leading to a tragedy that no one could have predicted. What Amanda thought would be a simple, joyful night with Jason would instead become her final moments. And just like that, her life, filled with love, dreams, and promise, was ripped away. Her social media posts were a testament to her contagious optimism and inspiring belief in self-growth. But behind the screen, the cracks in her relationship with Jason were beginning to widen. While Amanda's online presence conveyed a life full of success, joy, and love, the reality behind closed doors was much more complicated. As her relationship with Jason continued to unravel, Amanda found herself caught in a cycle of emotional turmoil. What began as a hopeful partnership slowly descended into an unpredictable and controlling environment, where Amanda's every move was scrutinized. Despite the facade of a happy life she portrayed online, Amanda's internal struggle was growing harder to hide. And just when it seemed like she was finding her way out, a single moment would shatter everything, leaving her no chance to escape the devastating fate that awaited her. Amanda's reputation as a talented stylist soon reached new heights, and she was no longer just a local favorite. Amanda's influence grew with each client she touched, propelling her into a thriving career that would elevate her beyond her wildest dreams. Her journey led her to open her own beauty salon, a place where she could offer not only services, but also a sense of empowerment to every person who walked through the door. Amanda's salon quickly became a symbol of self-love and confidence, attracting a loyal clientele eager to experience her transformative touch.
Okay, as you guys probably know, I sell premium quality bundle hair. It's called Charme Diamond. So Charme Diamond hair extensions, I'm going to show you a few of the textures that I carry that's in stock. So of course we have the straight. This is a Brazilian straight bundle hair.
What started as a humble home-based business had now evolved into a full-fledged success story, and Amanda's influence was just beginning to expand. But even as her career flourished, Amanda remained grounded, always cherishing her role as a mother, grandmother, and a positive force within her community. After years of hard work, Amanda's dream finally came true. A La Mode Styles was born. This salon was a testament to her hard work, love, and a deep commitment to empowering others through beauty. A La Mode Styles quickly became more than just a place for haircuts and styling. It was a place where clients felt both pampered and inspired. Amanda's unique blend of expertise, passion, and personal touch attracted a wide range of clients, each leaving the salon not only looking their best, but also feeling more confident than ever before. Her reputation grew, and with it, her salon became a staple in the University Heights community. Amanda had finally built the business she always dreamed of, and the future looked brighter than ever. Amanda's world seemed to be on the verge of perfection. Her business was thriving, her personal life was blossoming, and everything appeared to be falling into place, until everything changed in the most tragic way. Her relationship with her fiancé started like any fairy tale. Their connection was instant, filled with romance and promise. To Amanda, he seemed like the perfect partner, supportive, attentive, and seemingly just as driven as she was. However, as time passed, the man she trusted and loved began to reveal a darker side, one that would soon cast a shadow over Amanda's future. Little did Amanda know, her dream life was about to take a devastating turn. The story that would unfold was one filled with betrayal, heartbreak, and a tragic ending no one could have foreseen. What should have been a moment of joy would soon turn into something much darker. Terrell's decision to propose to Amanda marked the beginning of a new chapter for the couple, but it would be a chapter neither of them could have imagined. Terrell had planned the perfect proposal, a moment that would seal their bond forever. As Amanda's excitement grew, little did she know that the man who had shared her life for over 6 years would soon betray her in the most unimaginable way. But the proposal that was meant to symbolize a lifelong commitment instead set off a series of events that would devastate everyone involved. The tragic night would change Amanda's life and everyone who loved her forever. It was a moment that should have marked the start of a beautiful future, but little did Amanda know, this moment of joy would soon turn into a nightmare. As Amanda and Terrell shared that magical moment, surrounded by love and support, there was something darker simmering just beneath the surface. Amanda's joy was contagious, and in that moment it seemed like everything was perfect. However, the very man who had proposed, the one she trusted most, would soon shatter that happiness in a way no one could have ever anticipated. What should have been the happiest day of her life would, tragically, become her last. But behind the perfect images and posts, trouble was brewing beneath the surface. Their relationship seemed like a fairy tale romance, but eventually it began to show signs of cracks. Like a normal relationship, there were flaws. And Amanda, despite her optimism, could no longer ignore the growing tension. Although their social media painted a picture of a blissful relationship, moments of turmoil were never shared with their followers. Constant arguments and disagreements now overshadowed Amanda's once vibrant and loving connection with Terrell. The happiness they had once celebrated seemed to fade with each passing day. The tension that had been building finally reached a breaking point. Behind the smiles and shared moments, Amanda and Terrell found themselves in a cycle of unresolved conflicts, emotional distance, and an overwhelming sense of uncertainty. Though their social media still portrayed happiness, the reality of their relationship was far more complicated. What once felt like true love now seemed clouded with doubt and frustration, as both of them struggled to find common ground. The situation escalated to the point where they chose to seek couples counseling, believing it might help reignite their love and mend the cracks in their relationship. However, despite their efforts in therapy, Amanda couldn't ignore the mounting discomfort in her heart. Even so, she held on, still hoping things would improve. But nothing could have prepared her for what was about to unfold. On the night of October 9, 2023, at approximately 11:30 p.m., a 911 call sent shockwaves through law enforcement. A distressed man on the line admitted to shooting his fiancée. In response, officers rushed to the apartment, unaware of the devastating scene that awaited them. When they arrived, they were met with an unimaginable sight. Inside the apartment, 46-year-old Amanda S. Williams was found lifeless, her body marred by gunshot wounds. The woman who had once radiated joy, laughter, and ambition was now motionless, with blood staining the floor and walls around her. Rescue teams swiftly moved in, desperately trying to assess Amanda's condition, clinging to the hope that they could still save her, but the severity of her injuries left them with little hope. Time was of the essence, and they rushed her to South Point Hospital, where doctors and staff worked tirelessly to revive her. Tragically, despite their best efforts, Amanda's life could not be saved. A vibrant woman who had shared so many precious moments and dreams with the man she loved was now gone. The heart-wrenching question remained: how did things spiral so tragically? What could have driven Tyrrell, the man Amanda had trusted and planned her future with, to commit such a horrific act? Amanda's untimely death shocked her family, friends, and the community, leaving everyone struggling to comprehend how someone so full of life and potential could be taken so suddenly. But the one thing they did not expect was to come to terms with the fact that her life had been ended by the very person who had once promised to love and protect her. Tyrrell, being the one who had called 911 and confessed to shooting Amanda, was immediately taken into police custody for questioning. As officers began to piece together the events of that tragic night, Tyrrell presented a disturbing version of what had occurred. During his interrogation, Tyrrell allegedly explained that he and Amanda had been arguing and the situation rapidly escalated. He claimed that Amanda, in a fit of rage, grabbed a knife and held him hostage in their bedroom, threatening him and blocking his way. When he tried to leave, things spiraled further.
Upstairs with the knife, so I recorded her again. She grabbed the phone out of my hand while I'm trying to record and take the knife and poke the screen and bust the screen on the phone. Then she slinged the phone. And then she come charging me, so I'm running around the room. I jump up on the bed, and when I jump up on the bed, she trying to come down on me with the knife, so I grabbed her gun from under the mattress, and she jumped, she was trying to come out. I kept telling her, baby, calm down, put the knife down, stop.
According to Tyrrell, Amanda lunged at him with the knife, which left him no choice but to defend himself. He insisted that at that moment, fearing for his safety, he fired his gun, shooting Amanda multiple times in what he described as an act of self-defense. But the shocking thing happened. The police initially released Tyrrell due to insufficient evidence to press charges. However, the Warrensville Heights Police Department and the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office assured the public that the investigation into Amanda Williams' tragic shooting was ongoing. They urged anyone with information to come forward, though this response left Amanda's family and community dissatisfied and eager for swifter justice. Determined to uncover the truth, Amanda's family and community rallied together, launching a social media campaign 2 weeks after the shooting. Their mission was clear. They wanted authorities to thoroughly investigate Tyrrell's self-defense claim. Amanda's daughter, Tyler, emerged as a passionate advocate, using her grief as fuel to demand justice and accountability. Despite Tyrrell having no prior felony record, family and friends revealed a troubling history of abuse. They alleged that he had physically and emotionally abused Amanda throughout their relationship, manipulating her in ways that were not visible to the public. In 2019, he had reportedly been arrested for assaulting her. Additionally, in 2020, a separate woman filed a restraining order against him, accusing him of stalking and making threats. Amanda's loved ones further revealed that she had been planning to leave Tyrrell, a decision that she had kept from him as she sought to break free from the toxic relationship. The campaign for justice gained significant momentum, and just 23 days after Amanda's tragic death, the Warrensville Heights Police Department released a statement. They announced that evidence from the investigation had been presented to a grand jury in Cuyahoga County. After carefully reviewing the case, the grand jury reached a conclusion. In a landmark decision, they voted to issue an indictment in Amanda's case. Following this, the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office issued an arrest warrant for Tyrrell Edwards, charging him with the murder of Amanda Williams. But the most shocking revelation was still to come. According to the prosecutor's office, the investigation suggested that Tyrrell's self-defense claim was nothing more than a fabricated story, part of a premeditated plan to kill Amanda. As a result, Tyrrell was indicted on multiple charges, including 1 count of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 1 count of domestic violence. The evidence painted a chilling picture of a man who had carefully orchestrated the fatal events, leaving Amanda's family and the community grappling with the horrifying truth. A warrant was issued for Tyrrell Edwards' arrest, but initial attempts to locate him were unsuccessful. Authorities urged him to surrender, and on November 3, 2023, Tyrrell turned himself in. He was held on a $1 million bond as the investigation continued. On February 27, 2024, nearly 4 months later, the trial of Tyrell Edwards began, drawing significant attention from the public. The courtroom was filled with anticipation as both sides prepared to present their cases. Prosecutors were confident that their evidence would reveal the true sequence of events that led to Amanda's tragic death. However, it was now up to the jury to determine whether Tyrell had acted in self-defense or if Amanda's death was a result of a premeditated and violent act. The trial kicked off with the testimony of County Deputy Medical Examiner Dr. Elizabeth Mooney, the prosecution's first witness. Dr. Mooney explained the cause and manner of Amanda's death, stating that she had died from multiple gunshot wounds. She confirmed that the manner of death was homicide, with no uncertainty surrounding her conclusion. During her testimony, a key detail emerged that would raise questions about Tyrell's version of events. Amanda's body had 8 gunshot wounds, despite the fact that Tyrell had only fired 6 shots. Dr. Mooney clarified this discrepancy by explaining that a single bullet could cause multiple entry and exit wounds, thus accounting for the difference between the number of wounds and shots fired. This revelation would add complexity to the case, with the defense and prosecution likely to scrutinize the significance of the injuries as the trial unfolded. The tension in the courtroom reached a peak as the prosecution introduced a series of cell phone videos that Tyrell had recorded on the night of the shooting. These videos would become key pieces of evidence in the case, revealing startling details about the altercation. In one of the videos, an intense scene unfolded in the couple's bedroom. Amanda was seen holding a knife and demanding that Tyrell leave her home. The footage continued to record as a struggle ensued. During this chaotic moment, Tyrell retrieved a gun hidden under the mattress and shot Amanda multiple times. However, it was a single clue in the footage that brought the case into sharp focus and raised doubts about Tyrell's claims. The prosecution drew the jury's attention to several key points in the video. They emphasized that at no point did Tyrell attempt to de-escalate the situation by asking Amanda to drop the knife, nor did he warn her that he was armed or intended to shoot. Additionally, the video showed Amanda positioned a distance away from Tyrell, moving toward the front of the bed, not charging at him aggressively, as he had claimed during his earlier testimony. This footage cast a significant shadow over Tyrell's version of events and suggested that the situation may not have been as he described it. The jury now faced the challenge of determining whether Tyrell's actions were a result of genuine self-defense or if they reflected a deliberate act of violence. When it was Tyrell's turn to testify, he claimed he acted out of fear for his life. He described Amanda as threatening with a knife and said shooting her was the only way to protect himself.
I remember her, when I looked, she was stabbed in the screen on the phone. And I remember her coming towards me to her side of the bed, so I reached under the mattress where she keep her firearm. And I remember getting up and I thought that
Why did you shoot her?
Because she was coming at me with the knife. Rapidly, I was scared. She had me so scared with that knife.
You just said you were de-escalating by telling her to chill out. Why didn't you de-escalate further by saying, I've got your gun, please stop?
Like I said, I didn't want to shoot her. I'm trying to run to get away, and that's when she cut me off and she lunged at me with the knife.
He insisted his actions were a matter of self-defense. Tyrell began his testimony by describing his relationship with Amanda as pretty good overall, but claimed things turned darker on the day of the shooting. He said the argument started over text messages and escalated when Amanda allegedly tried to force him out of the home. He painted Amanda's behavior as erratic, claiming her eyes were red and bloodshot and describing her as possessed by a demon. Tyrell testified that Amanda threatened him, warning, "If you stay here tonight, you'll have to sleep with one eye open."
Something just wasn't right to me at first.
He described her eyes as red and bloodshot, telling police that night that she had a demon in her eyes. When he wouldn't leave the house, he says she issued a warning.
So then she told me, okay, if you do stay here tonight, you're gonna have to sleep with one eye open.
Feeling unsafe, he moved 2 guns from his nightstand to his car. When he returned and saw Amanda on the phone, he assumed she was calling the police. Fearing further danger, he decided to pack his things and leave. As he was preparing to leave, Tyrrell alleged that Amanda confronted him with a knife. He claimed that while trying to record the altercation on his phone, things escalated. However, investigators were taken aback by what the video revealed. The video in fact showed Amanda setting the knife down, a key moment emphasized by the prosecution. They used this evidence to challenge Tyrrell's self-defense claim, arguing that Amanda was unarmed as she approached him. The prosecution also highlighted inconsistencies in Tyrrell's account and questioned the rationale behind his actions that night. Further undermining Tyrrell's defense, the county medical examiner testified that one of the gunshot wounds would have paralyzed Amanda from the neck down almost instantly, making it impossible for her to hold a knife or pose any threat. The defense tried to suggest that Amanda might have retrieved the knife at some point not captured in the video. However, this argument struggled to gain traction, as the footage and medical evidence clearly contradicted it, presenting a very different picture of the fatal encounter. In his emotional testimony, Tyrrell claimed he acted out of fear, stating that Amanda had cut him off and lunged at him with a knife, forcing him to shoot. He also explained preventing Amanda's daughter Tyler from entering the room, claiming he wanted to shield her from the trauma of seeing her mother in such a state. However, the prosecution effectively countered Tyrrell's account with video evidence and medical testimony. They pointed out that Amanda had already set the knife down, indicating there was no immediate threat when Tyrrell shot her. This, along with the severity and location of the gunshot wounds, suggested that Amanda was not attacking when she was shot. After all the evidence was presented and closing arguments delivered, the responsibility shifted to the jury. Their task was to determine the truth. Was it truly an act of self-defense, as Tyrrell claimed, or had he taken Amanda's life without justification? On March 4, 2024, after carefully reviewing the evidence and considering the gravity of the crime, Judge Gall pronounced the sentence. Tyrrell Edwards was found guilty of 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 1 count of domestic violence. He was acquitted of the aggravated murder charge. Tyrrell Edwards received a life sentence with the possibility of parole after serving 15 years. However, due to firearm specifications, 3 additional 3-year terms were added to his sentence, to be served consecutively. This adjustment meant that he would only become eligible for parole after serving a minimum of 24 years in prison. With the final judgment delivered and Tyrrell Edwards sentenced, Amanda Williams' family began to feel the first glimmers of closure since her tragic death. Although the deep wounds of grief would likely never fully heal, the conclusion of the trial allowed them to shift their focus toward healing and to remember Amanda for the vibrant life she lived rather than the violent circumstances that ended it. On October 19, 2023, Amanda S. Williams was laid to rest, with a funeral service held at the Word Church in Warrensville Heights, Ohio. Friends and family gathered to honor her memory, mourning the tragic loss of a life taken too soon. Her passing deeply impacted her community. The service was a moment for loved ones to honor her memory. The tragic case of Amanda S. Williams serves as a reminder of the complexities of love, anger, and betrayal. It highlights the harsh reality that violence in relationships often leaves scars that are invisible until it's too late. Let me know what you think in the comments section below.